The 10 Rules Hotel. The night was thick with fog as the Cartwright family's SUV rumbled down a desolate mountain road. Jack Cartwright, a weary father in his early 40s, squinted at the barely visible headlights ahead, gripping the wheel with tired hands. His wife, Ellen, sat beside him, scrolling through their GPS with frustration. "This can't be right," Ellen muttered. "There's nothing out here except trees and—" She stopped as the glow of a sign flickered through the mist. Black Hollow Inn was etched in ornate gold letters, hanging from an iron post. Below it, in smaller print, was a chilling phrase: 10 rules must be followed. In the back seat, their twin daughters, Lily and Sophie, both 10 years old, stirred from their light sleep. The younger son, Noah, only 7, rubbed his eyes groggily. "We're finally here?" Lily asked, her voice groggy. Jack hesitated before nodding. "Looks like it." The hotel stood at the end of the winding road, an ominous Victorian structure with towering spires. Its wooden exterior was ancient, the paint peeling, yet the windows glowed warmly as if inviting them in. The eerie contrast between its welcoming light and its shadowed, towering presence sent a shiver through Ellen's spine. As they pulled into the gravel driveway, a man in an outdated bellhop uniform stepped forward. His face was gaunt, eyes hollow yet piercing. "Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright," he said, his voice eerily smooth. "We've been expecting you." Jack exchanged a look with Ellen. "How do you know our name?" The bellhop smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "We know all our guests." Before Jack could question him further, the man turned to lead them inside. The moment they stepped through the massive wooden doors, the atmosphere changed. The lobby was grand yet unsettling: crimson wallpaper, golden chandeliers dripping with wax, and an antique grandfather clock ticking loudly. A faint, almost undetectable whispering seemed to hum beneath the air. Ellen noticed an old parchment framed on the wall. She stepped closer. At the top, bold letters read: 10 Rules of Black Hollow Inn. 1. Guests must check in before midnight. 2. No room swapping under any circumstances. 3. The dining hall closes at exactly 8 o'clock, do not eat after this time. 4. If you hear knocking at your door past midnight, do not answer. 5. The mirrors are not to be covered. 6. If the telephone rings, you must answer on the first ring. 7. The doors to the east wing remain locked, do not attempt to enter. 8. If you see a woman in black standing at the end of the hallway, do not speak to her. 9. Upon checking out, do not leave anything behind. 10. Once you check in, you cannot leave until your stay is complete. Ellen turned to Jack, unsettled. "What the hell is this?" Before Jack could respond, the manager appeared. A tall, wiry man with slicked back hair and a permanent, unsettling grin. His name tag simply read Mr. Graves. "Just a little formality," he said smoothly. "All of our guests follow the rules. It ensures a pleasant stay." Jack forced a laugh. "You're joking, right?" Graves merely smiled. "Enjoy your stay, Mr. Cartwright." The family was led upstairs to their suite. It was strangely pristine, as if it had never been touched. The girls shared one room, while Noah had a smaller one next to them. Jack and Ellen took the master bedroom at the end of the hall. As Jack locked their door for the night, he murmured, "Creepy place." Ellen sat on the bed, staring at the list of rules she had taken a picture of with her phone. "I don't like this, Jack." Jack sighed. "It's just an old gimmick. Probably to make this place feel special. Let's just get some sleep." But as the clock struck midnight, a loud knock echoed through the hallway. Knock. 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 Noah whimpered from his room. The twins sat up in their beds, staring at the door. Then, silence. Ellen held her breath, gripping Jack's arm. "Rule number 4, she whispered. Jack swallowed. Don't answer. Outside their door, heavy footsteps dragged along the wooden floors, and then, the knob twisted. Someone, or something, was trying to get in. The twisting doorknob sent a jolt of terror through Ellen's veins. She clutched Jack's arm, her nails digging into his skin as the unseen visitor on the other side of the door continued to test the lock. Knock. 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 A slow, deliberate rhythm. Jack reached for his phone, but there was no signal. The hotel's eerie silence pressed against them like a heavy weight. Then, just as suddenly as it had started, the knocking stopped. Footsteps receded down the hallway, dragging, uneven. The family barely slept that night. By morning, the events of the night before felt almost unreal, except for the deep scratches on the brass doorknob. As Jack, Ellen, and the kids entered the dining hall for breakfast, they found the other guests speaking in hushed tones. Their eyes held a haunted look. A young couple at a nearby table whispered to one another, their hands trembling around their teacups. An elderly man sitting alone eyed the Cartwrights warily before looking away, his shoulders hunched. As Ellen moved to pour herself coffee, a woman approached her. She was in her 50s, with dark circles under her eyes and a nervous energy that made her hands tremble. "You heard it, didn't you?" she asked quietly. Ellen froze. "The knocking?" The woman nodded. "They always knock at midnight." Ellen's stomach twisted. "Who?" Before the woman could answer, a sharp voice cut through the room. "Mrs. Cartwright." Mr. Graves stood at the entrance of the dining hall, his ever-present grin unsettling. "May I have a word?" Ellen hesitated but followed him into the hallway, where the golden chandeliers flickered overhead. "I trust you had a pleasant first night?" Graves asked, his tone too smooth. Ellen folded her arms. "Someone tried to get into our room." Graves' smile didn't waver. "Ah. That would be rule number 4. A very important rule." Her frustration flared. "Who was it?" Graves tilted his head. "Not who. What?" Ellen's mouth went dry. "Many guests come and go, Mrs. Cartwright," he continued. "But some never truly leave." Ellen took a step back, the weight of his words settling over her like a cold shadow. That afternoon, the family explored the hotel grounds, trying to shake off the morning's unease. A fog hung thick over the gardens, where stone pathways twisted through skeletal trees. A small playground stood abandoned in the corner, its swings creaking in the breeze. Lily and Sophie ran ahead, their laughter momentarily breaking the eerie stillness. Then Sophie stopped. At the edge of the path, a woman in a long black dress stood perfectly still. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow. She watched the girls, unblinking. Sophie felt a chill rush through her body. The woman raised one hand and beckoned. A single, slow movement. "Sophie, come on." Lily called, oblivious. Sophie blinked. The woman was gone. She gasped and ran after her sister, her little heart pounding. That evening, the family sat in the lounge, where a crackling fireplace cast flickering shadows on the walls. Jack, trying to lighten the mood, ordered hot chocolate for the kids. Noah sipped his carefully, his legs swinging under the chair. "Did you see her?" Sophie suddenly blurted out. Jack raised an eyebrow. "See who?" "The woman in black," she whispered. Ellen's blood ran cold. "Where?" Sophie hesitated, then pointed toward the hallway leading to the east wing. Jack let out a breath. "Sophie, it's an old hotel. Maybe it was another guest." Ellen wasn't so sure. Later that night, after the children were tucked in, Ellen pulled out her phone to reread the hotel rules. Rule number 8, if you see a woman in black standing at the end of the hallway, do not speak to her. Ellen's hands trembled. Then. A knock. 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 The same slow, deliberate rhythm as the night before. But this time, it wasn't just their door. It was every door in the hallway. One by one. A cascade of knocking, rippling through the walls like a phantom's touch. The whispers returned, creeping beneath the door, curling into their ears. Noah sat up in bed, trembling. "Mommy?" Ellen didn't answer. She squeezed Jack's hand, and together, they lay still, waiting for the night to end. Outside, the doorknob twisted. And then, through the keyhole, a breath. Ellen clamped a hand over her mouth, stifling a gasp as cold air seeped through the keyhole. A breath. A whisper. A presence just beyond the door. Jack held her wrist, shaking his head in warning. Noah trembled under the blankets. Then. Silence. Minutes passed, stretched into eternity. No more knocking. No more whispers. Finally, Jack exhaled. "It's gone." But Ellen wasn't so sure. Morning arrived with an unnatural stillness. The hotel felt emptier. As if some of the guests had disappeared overnight. Down in the dining hall, fewer people sat at the tables. The young couple who had whispered to each other yesterday? Gone. The elderly man? Nowhere to be seen. Mr. Graves, however, was still there. Still smiling. Ellen approached the nervous woman she had spoken to before. "What's happening?" The woman's face was pale, eyes darting toward the staff. "Some people don't make it past the third night." Ellen's stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" The woman leaned in, voice barely a whisper. "The rules aren't just for keeping things out. They're for keeping us safe." A dish shattered behind them. Jack spun around. At the far end of the dining hall, the twins stood frozen, staring at something. A woman in black. Standing at the hallway's entrance. Motionless. Watching. Ellen's breath caught in her throat. Lily and Sophie hadn't spoken to her. Not yet. The woman in black raised one bony hand, beckoning. Ellen shot forward, grabbing the girls, pulling them away. When she turned back, the woman was gone. Jack had seen it, too. "That's it. We're leaving." They packed in record time, shoving clothes into bags, hardly speaking. Noah clutched his stuffed bear, his wide eyes darting around the room. "Mommy," he whispered, "what if they don't let us?" Ellen forced a smile. "They will." Downstairs, Mr. Graves stood at the front desk, expectant. "Checking out so soon?" His voice was light, but there was something off about it. Jack set the room key on the counter. "Yeah." Graves glanced at the clock behind him. "You haven't completed your stay." Jack's jaw tightened. "We're leaving." The air in the lobby shifted, thickened. Graves' smile never faltered. "Very well. But tell me, did you follow the rules?" Jack didn't answer. Graves chuckled softly, flipping through the guest book. Room 307. Interesting." Ellen's skin prickled. "Why?" Graves finally met her gaze, and for the first time, his grin faded. "Because it was already occupied." Something cold slid down Ellen's spine. "What?" Graves gestured toward the stairs. "Every night, your door was locked, yet something still tried to enter, didn't it?" Jack's grip on the suitcase tightened. "That's because," Graves continued, voice soft, "it wasn't trying to get in. It was trying to get out." The lights flickered. The grandfather clock in the lobby struck 12, but it wasn't midnight. The lobby doors swung open violently, revealing a dark corridor where the outside should have been. The swirling mist beyond was wrong, thick, shifting, filled with whispering figures. No road. No SUV. No way out. Lily gasped. Where's the car? Graves sighed, almost pitying. I did say, once you check in, you cannot leave until your stay is complete. Ellen backed away, pulling the children close. How long is the stay? Graves' grin returned. Some guests stay for weeks. A pause. Some never leave at all. The air in the hotel darkened. Shadows twisted along the walls. The woman in black appeared behind the front desk, watching them. More figures emerged from the hallways. Silent, waiting. Jack grabbed Ellen's hand. Run. They bolted. Through the hallways. Up the stairs. The corridors twisted, stretched, warping around them. Doors slammed shut. Footsteps followed, slow, steady. Noah screamed. The whispers grew louder. Then. A door stood open ahead. Their room. Ellen pushed the children inside, slamming it shut. Jack barricaded it with a chair, breathing hard. Silence. The mirror in the room began to darken. Lily gasped, pointing. Look! Reflected in the glass, the Cartwright family. Standing. Watching. But their reflections were wrong. The mirror Jack grinned too wide. The mirror Ellen's eyes were hollow. The children's reflections stood stiffly, unnaturally still. Noah whimpered, clinging to Ellen. Mommy, they aren't us. The mirror version stepped closer to the glass. Jack grabbed Ellen's arm. We have to destroy it. Ellen hesitated. The hotel's rule number 5 echoed in her mind. The mirrors are not to be covered. But it never said why. Jack didn't wait. He grabbed a chair and swung it with full force into the glass. The mirror shattered. A deafening scream filled the room, inhuman and endless. The walls shook. The entire hotel groaned. The lights burst. And then. When Ellen opened her eyes, she was outside. The SUV sat in the gravel driveway. The sun was rising. Birds chirped. Jack groaned beside her, rubbing his head. The kids were in the back seat, stirring awake. They were outside. The hotel was gone. Nothing remained but an empty lot. No sign that Black Hollow Inn had ever existed. Jack turned the key in the ignition. The car started. Ellen's hands trembled. Was it real? Jack pulled onto the main road. I don't know. They drove in silence. Then, Sophie whispered. Mommy, we forgot something. Ellen turned, her heart stopping. Noah's stuffed bear. Still sitting in the empty lot. Left behind. Her stomach dropped. Rule number 9, upon checking out, do not leave anything behind. As they rounded the curve, Ellen looked in the rearview mirror. And saw the woman in black standing at the side of the road. Waiting. The end.